Michael, what are we doing today?
We are putting an Atom 80 on the test stand to test every different size of prop that is available.
Okay, here it is. We're getting started. So we've went around the hangar here trying to find as many props as we can for the Atom 80. We've got the 125 class here, so that's the E-prop and a helix. We've got a 130s, our 130 class, that's going to be again E-props and helix, and our specialty class, which is, we called in a favor from OneUp over there. We got a 100 centimeter 3-blade, and we grabbed one of our 140 centimeter 2-blades. So we've got quite the variety here of Atom 80 props. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the sizes back to back on each other. So we'll do E-prop 125, helix 125, then we'll move up to the 130s, back to back on those, and then we'll do the 100 centimeter and the 140 centimeter back to back. So that should be pretty interesting. Try and get the results as consistent as possible. I'm pretty confident that this test stand is very consistent. There's not a lot of play in it at all, so we'll see what happens. All right, so we got our first one here. Is the first run of the E-prop in 125 centimeters. So hit it, Mike. All right, so 105.2. Again, pull number 2, redo. .6. All right, pull number 3. 109.8. Okay. All right, so we got the helix 125 now. We got it in peak. All right, go for it, Mike. 112.4. All right, pull number 2. 107.6. All right, pull number 3. 111.8. All right, E-prop 130. Go ahead and hit it, Mike. 97.4. Go ahead and hit it. 106.5. Go ahead and hit it. 103.2. Okay, 130 helix. We're in peak, go for it. 110.6. All right, go for it. 111.7. All right, go for it. 12.3. All right, this is the moment everybody's been waiting for. This is the 130, or I'm sorry, the 100 centimeter 3-blade. So we're in peak. Go for it, Mike. 84 even. All right, run number 2. .4. You were pretty much right on the money. All right, run number 3. .5. I think I forgot to clear it on that one. All right, go ahead, give it another run. All right, so we got the 140 Vittorazi Helix. My guess is it will pass 120. Mike, what do you think?
Say 118.
118? Okay. Mike's in for 118. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, go for it, Mike. .5. All right, go for it. Round 2. .1. Okay, last run. .5. So now that we've done our tests and we've had a couple of days to kind of sit on it a little bit, we got our results right here with the averages for each propeller. Just real quick, what was some of the things that were interesting to you that you kind of didn't expect from this whole shebang?
Probably the biggest surprise was the fact that some of the 125 props were putting out a little more than the 130.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, did not expect that at all.
Yeah, the 130s was I was kind of surprised. That was probably most surprising to me was how underperforming, well, at least for the overall thrust level, how underperforming the 130s were.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you think you want to step up to a 130 to get a little bit more thrust, and that may not always be the case.
So yeah, let's get right into it. So the 125 E-prop, the average out of 3 pulls was 107.2 pounds of thrust. Compared to the Helix, so the average of the 3 pulls there was 110.6 pounds. So just a little bit over 3 pounds of thrust more on the Helix. Now moving on to the 130s, like we were talking about, the average was 102.4 pounds of thrust for the E-prop.
Yeah,
which was pretty low. That's what, 5 pounds, almost 5 pounds less
than the 130.
Than the 125. So
125.
Yeah. Helix. The Helix did 111.5 average for the 130, which wasn't even a pound more thrust than the 125. So
yeah, that's pretty surprising too. Just 1 pound.
Yeah, for sure. So moving on to kind of probably what you're all interested in the most was the 100 centimeter 3 blade and the 140 2 blade.
Yeah.
So the average for the 100 centimeter was 85 pounds of thrust, and for the 140. We had 117 even. So, yeah, the 100 centimeter's got a cool sound to it.
Yeah, it does. Screams 10,000 RPM. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was tipping over just a little bit over 10,000 RPM a few times there. If you watch back in the videos, see on the tachometer there, it did eclipse 10,000 RPMs a couple of times. The 140, of course, that put out the more thrust than anything, but I expected a little bit more. I would say.
Yeah, me too. It's fairly close to, like, even 10 pounds more than the 125 is not a huge number.
Yeah. So I think we're going to explore in our data acquisition a little bit more and try and tie in I'd like to get a throttle position sensor and a way to record the pounds of thrust in relation to the RPM. So like make it a little bit more like a real dyno.
Yeah.
And then kind of have that recorded so we can see where in the throttle position how much is actually being put out, because I think that's really where the differences in the props will really start to come into their own. Especially with a 140, like you fly the 140, so
Yeah.
what does flying that feel like to you?
I mean, it's
Just feel.
like it feels good. I mean, I come off of a 125 and went straight to the 140, so I mean, it makes a good bit of difference. I can definitely notice the thrust difference. I mean, we're saying only 10 pounds here, but it's a noticeable difference for sure.
Yeah, definitely the feel of a propeller. You'll feel a lot more so than than your full throttle run-ups on a test stand. It doesn't really, other than of course 100 centimeters versus 140 is pretty significant difference there, but really back-to-back full throttle tests, there wasn't a massive difference between all these props. So
Yeah, and with it not being on your back, you really can't feel the difference. So
yeah, I think if we have a way to compare quarter throttle settings and the output at quarter throttle and half throttle, that would be, I think that's where we'd really start seeing some pretty significant differences between these props. So,
yeah, for sure.
but I don't know, that's hope you guys enjoyed this video and got a little something out of it. We're gonna keep building the test stand and build it up even more, get more data acquisition out of it, and I'd really like to have a way to record all this stuff even more and give the customers printouts, and that would be really cool. So
nice.
we're gonna keep working on that. So thanks y'all for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for ARC.